Hello, everyone. Today we are going to deconstruct the psychology of verbal seduction. We are not here to discuss pickup lines or childish games. We are here to understand how specific questions can bypass a woman's logical defenses and trigger a biological and emotional response that leads to intense attraction. Most men fail in conversation because they operate in interview mode. They ask logical, data-based questions like, "Where are you from?" or "What do you do for work?" These questions are safe, boring, and they kill sexual tension immediately. To make a woman feel a visceral desire for you, you must stop exchanging information and start exchanging emotions. The questions we will discuss today are designed to do exactly that. They are psychological triggers that force her mind to visualize you in an intimate context. The first concept you must master is the pattern interrupt. Beautiful women are used to men asking the same boring questions every single day. Their brains are on autopilot. To get her attention, you must break this pattern. You need to ask questions that catch her off guard and force her to think about her own nature. One of the most powerful questions you can ask in the early stages of a conversation is, "What is the one thing about you that people assume is true but is actually completely wrong?" This question is potent because it validates her hidden depth. It tells her that you see past her physical appearance and you are interested in the real her. It forces her to be vulnerable with you instantly, and vulnerability is the gateway to intimacy. When she answers, she is investing in the interaction, and psychologically, we are attracted to people we invest effort into. Once you have broken the ice with a pattern interrupt, you must move toward emotional anchoring. You want to associate yourself with her most positive and exciting memories. A powerful question for this is, what is the most spontaneous and adrenaline-filled thing you have ever done? When she answers this, she has to access the memory of that event. Her brain will relive the rush of dopamine and adrenaline she felt at that moment. The trick here is that because she is telling you the story, her brain subconsciously attributes those feelings of excitement to you. You become the source of her dopamine. You are no longer just a guy she is talking to. You are a vessel for her excitement. Watch her eyes light up when she tells the story. That is the moment you know the hook is set. However, we are not just looking for friendly excitement, we are looking for sexual tension. To introduce this, we need to move into shadow questions. These are questions that explore the parts of her personality she usually hides from polite society. A great transition question is, do you consider yourself a good girl who follows the rules, or do you have a rebellious side that nobody knows about? Boy, sexy sa. This question is a trap in the best possible way. If she says she is a good girl, you can tease her about being boring or hiding something. If she admits to being rebellious, she is explicitly telling you that she is open to adventure and risk. This frames the interaction as a man-to-woman dynamic rather than a friendly, platonic one. It forces her to categorize herself sexually in relation to you. Before we proceed to the next level of intensity, if you want to master the art of female psychology and dating dynamics, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. We are going deeper into the human mind than anyone else. Now that we have established a baseline of emotional connection, we need to utilize a technique called future projection. This is a method used in sales and hypnosis to make the subject visualize a future scenario where they have already bought the product, or in this case, bought into the romance with you. You need to ask questions that force her to imagine the two of you doing something together. A subtle but effective question is, if we were to just drop everything and go on a road trip this weekend, where would we end up? And who would be the one causing trouble? Notice the phrasing, if we. This forces her brain to simulate a reality where you are together. By asking who would cause trouble, you are introducing a playful, flirtatious dynamic. You are co-creating a narrative. If she plays along and says, "Oh, I would definitely cause the trouble," she is flirting back. She is visualizing a future with you, and once the mind visualizes it, the body begins to crave it. We must then pivot to sensory questions. These are questions that evoke physical sensations rather than intellectual thoughts. The goal is to get her out of her head and into her body. A profound question to ask is, what is the one smell that instantly takes you back to a specific memory? Or, what is the most physically comforting sensation you can think of? These questions seem innocent, but they are deeply sensual. When she describes the smell of rain or the feeling of fresh sheets, she is activating the sensory centers of her brain. As she speaks, maintain strong eye contact. You are training her to feel physical sensations while looking at you. This bridges the gap between emotional conversation and physical desire without being creepily overt. You are creating a safe space for her to feel, which is rare in a modern dating world filled with surface-level noise. At this stage, it is crucial to flip the power dynamic using qualification. Up until now, you might feel like you are the one chasing her. We need to change that. You need to ask questions that make her prove her value to you. A perfect question for this is, apart from your looks, what do you think is your best quality? This is a challenge. You are essentially saying, I know you are beautiful, but that is not enough for me. What else do you have? This spikes her attraction because high-value men are not easily impressed by beauty alone. It makes her work for your validation. When she answers, perhaps saying she is loyal or creative or kind, you must not just accept it. You must evaluate it. Pause, look at her, and say, that is a rare quality these days. This approval, coming after a challenge, hits her with a massive spike of dopamine. She is now trying to win you over. Let us go deeper into the risk category. Sexual attraction requires tension, and tension requires a foundational element of risk. You need to ask questions that suggest you are dangerous, not physically dangerous, but dangerously exciting to her emotional stability. Ask her, what is the biggest risk you have ever taken for love, and was it worth it? This brings the conversation to the topic of romance, sacrifice, and passion. It makes her think about what she is willing to do when she desires someone. It also gives you a blueprint of her romantic history. If she says she flew across the world for a man, you know she is driven by grand gestures. If she says she has never taken a risk, you know you need to be the one to push her comfort zone. This information is ammunition for the seduction process. We have built emotional rapport, we have projected a future, and we have made her qualify herself. Now, we must enter the final and most critical phase, sexual escalation. This is where most men panic, but you will remain calm. You need to ask questions that bridge the gap between talking and touching. A powerful transition question is, what is your biggest turn-on that you are usually too embarrassed to tell guys about? This is bold. It demands confidence. You must ask this with zero shame, looking her dead in the eyes. By framing it as something she is usually too embarrassed to say, you are creating a secret conspiracy between the two of you. You are implying that you are different from other guys. You can handle her truth. If she answers this, the barrier is broken. She is explicitly discussing her sexual arousal with you. From here, you can move to questions that test her compliance and physical boundaries. A great way to do this is not just to ask, but to command via a question. For example, lower your voice and ask, do you think you are a good kisser? This is not really a question, it is a challenge. It puts the idea of kissing you directly into her mind. Almost every woman will say yes, or I think so, or giggle. Whatever she says, your response should be a skeptical, playful look, followed by, I don't know, you look like trouble. I might have to find out for myself. This is the green light. You have moved the interaction from a theoretical discussion about kissing to a practical possibility of it happening right now. The air between you should be thick with tension. Finally, we must discuss the deal-breaker mindset. This is the ultimate display of high value. You must ask a question that shows you are willing to walk away if she doesn't meet your standards. Ask her, what is the one thing a guy can do that will make you lose interest immediately? When she answers, listen carefully. Then tell her your deal breaker. For me, if a woman isn't passionate about something in her life, I can't be with her. This statement tells her that you are not desperate. You are choosing her just as much as she is choosing you. This lack of neediness is the ultimate aphrodisiac. It makes her feel safe to let go and surrender to the moment because she is with a man who is in control of himself. To conclude, the power of these questions lies not in the words themselves, but in the subtext. You are communicating that you are confident, you are not afraid of intimacy, and you demand depth. When you ask these questions, you are not asking for data. You are inviting her into a shared emotional and sexual reality. Do not rush through them like a checklist. Listen to her answers. Look at her pupils dilating. Feel the energy shift. When you master this, you won't need to convince her to be with you. She will be the one hoping you ask the next question. Use this power responsibly. Thank you for watching. See you next time.